now rocking with TDF everything. Spoiled Rotten.
Spoiler alert.
Welcome and welcome back, everybody.
Hey.
It's me, Daniel,
And this is Ben.
on Spoiled Rotten. And today, we are revisiting Doom Patrol Season 3.
That's right.
Yeah. I'll admit right up top, I don't remember the first few episodes of this season.
And because my thing was like, it's doing that messy thing, kind of like Titans, where it's like, oh, they should have done the season finale, and then there's like, oh, episode 1 of the new season is the season finale preview, and then they gotta. So it's like this really messy thing for the first 2 seasons. Plus, Niles was there, so I'm just like, oh, over this guy. So I tuned out a lot during the first few episodes.
It was, especially since I genuinely cared about the last bit of it. Like, once they get into Sisterhood of Dada for real, I was like, this is what I wanted the whole season.
Yep, I completely agree.
This is what I like.
Yeah. It finally got good. And don't get me wrong, the first few episodes, they still do a really fantastic job of setting up great visuals that are really, really fun and like really creative. So I will give it that 100%. But it's it's just carrying on the Niles stuff. And if for those of you that haven't heard our Doom Patrol episodes, go back, because I'm not a fan of Niles. I am not a fan. He's a dumb. But
there's no fans of Niles on this podcast.
Yeah. So, his arc in this season is good because it ends, and I'm like,
and his daughter leaves, which I don't remember. I thought she stuck around more.
I thought she stuck around more. I thought she would and be like, oh, this is my family now. But like, I'm kind of glad to see her go, in the sense where it's just messy.
They were also
keeping her
shitting
around
on her dad like all the time.
Yes, they were, especially.
I think she was kind of like, I don't think I should be here.
Yeah, especially Brendan Fraser's guy, Cliff, who's just like, the way he was ripping apart. I'm like, I'm glad you're getting this off your chest, man. You had a lot of beef with him for sure. That was great.
Yeah. So I said that to say this in my recap. I'm pretty much just going to talk about the last bit of it because I don't really. I feel like the point of this season was what is her Madame Rouge coming?
Madame Rouge, yeah.
And she was like, I like this thing they do where they're like, if you do time travel in this machine, you will not remember anything. So she gets there and she's like, oh, I'm looking for Elastigirl, or what is her name in this? That's Incredibles, isn't it?
That is Incredibles. Rita.
Yeah, Rita.
Who basically uses her powers like Elastigirl in a couple of scenes, which is great. I like that.
She's looking for Rita, but I feel like that's because when she first got there, you morphed into her, and then Rita went back in time, and then then they became acquaintances, friends to enemies type thing. But she goes there and she's like, I don't know who I am, and they find stuff that's basically like, well, it seems like everyone hates you. You said you're from Sisterhood of Dada. They seem to hate you like with a passion, and I like the way that this character is played. I think her name's Michelle Gomez, the actress, of just like, I can't be that bad of a person, can I? Like, this is wild. And turns out, not turns out, from their point of view, she's a terrible person.
Yes,
she because I was like, I've seen this season before, and I was like, I don't remember where this goes. And basically, through intense time travel stuff, Rita becomes a part of her life in a meaningful way, because obviously she went back in time and lost all her memories, and she becomes bendy. And they you realize that Madame Rouge is part of the, what is it? The Department of something. They capture metahumans.
Yes, they do.
She, in her own way, tries to help people by being like, you're a weapon, and that means you get sent to the front lines, and you're useful, or some other classification that means she gets to keep the people she likes off the front lines and from dying. And you see her in one way, Madame Rouge, in the past, of this like pencil pusher, but then you realize, I feel like they did what Doom Patrol does best, which is lean into like theatrical queerness type stuff and
Yes.
let people enjoy themselves.
Mhm.
And yeah, they come up with the sisterhood, which does have men in it, but they dance, they dress up, they do like theater games. It
Mhm.
feels like, and they have a very loving bond until the jig is up and she outs them
Yeah.
and turns them into weapons and kills Rita's now love Malcolm.
Mhm.
And I don't even remember how Rita gets back. I think they do their like flagellation thing,
Yes.
and she's back and is basically, yeah, I'm gonna kill her. And we now have context for why people said they hated her back in the day,
Mhm.
even though she felt like she was trying to save them.
Mhm.
And then it gets weird all over again, but in a way
Yep.
that's way more engaging for me.
Yes, yes. No, I'm glad that you pointed out the time travel thing is like you don't get to keep your memories in this. That's a wildly exciting kind of thing because
Well,
it like
because later on in the season they start writing each other notes or like
yes.
putting their names on their heads and stuff, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
good. I'm glad that someone remembered that they're not gonna remember.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool stuff because I think one of the issues with time travel storytelling is just like oh, you retained all your memories and you know exactly what to do. So this feels like a cheat code that you've entered in real life or something like that. But this, the fact that no one can remember and they have to figure out who they are, which to me is the premise of the actual season, like ignoring the first two episodes where they're just cleaning up season two and all that kind
Mm-hmm.
of stuff. The premise of this season to me is what is your identity? Like, who are you outside of parental influences, societal influences, all that kind of stuff? Who are you when left to your own devices? And I really like that premise a lot, especially because the death of Niles really warrants that
Well, because
discovery for a lot of the
they're
characters.
they're freer than they were before because now
Yes.
they don't have the excuse of, yeah, we're here doing the Nile stuff.
Yep.
They are technically free to just leave. But
Mhm.
obviously, I think at one point Cyborg even says, "Oh, I live here." They're
Yep.
like, "What? Why are you here still?" He's like, I live
I
here.
just live here
Where
now.
else would I go?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, but that's the general idea, and I think you're right that that's what this season is
Mhm.
engaging with,
Mhm.
in many interesting ways. But yeah, I just for whatever reason was like, is this the whole season? I don't remember.
Yeah.
I just don't like this. And then they get over that, and then Madame Rouge shows up, and I'm like, good, there we go.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
in.
I think one thing I will say is like in the first two episodes, the stuff with Jane is really, really strong. And like
But
I think
they
that
keep
writing
that
for
going
her
throughout, right? Like it's
exactly.
so
That's
to me, it just feels like it's part of the good stuff.
no, you're absolutely right. But that's why I'm highlighting in the first two episodes. I'm like, there is good stuff, but
Hmm.
it's very much situated to one character only. And the reason being is that character's not really involved in the whole Niles fiasco and all that kind of stuff.
No,
They're more dealing with their
She
own
doesn't even know
stuff.
he's dead for most of it. Not most of
Yeah.
it, but a good portion of it.
Yeah. And
Uh,
she's just trying to figure out the underground and like K and all that kind of stuff. So I like her writing the most out of all the characters just because I find it the most fascinating, but just throughout this whole season, most consistent storyline for sure.
yeah. Uh, the I guess we can go character by character 'cause I'm
Yeah.
definitely not gonna. Um, I feel like the Cliff stuff in particular is his robot, Parkinson's,
Yes.
and I it does when I say it out loud seem so dumb, but I did find it compelling that his addiction to the internet and when he gets pills online
Hmm.
and then starts looking at the one cam girl. It doesn't even feel like he had a bunch of them, but it was like
Hmm.
one cam girl who also at one point feels worried, like, should someone call for your like pills or something?
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's nice. She cares. Uh,
Yep.
and yeah, his gambling and paying for all of this by stealing things from the other team members.
Hmm.
Um, which is important because he not ultimately, like midway through the season, he's like, I should just be more connected with my daughter who had her baby.
Hmm.
And there's an episode where he goes to babysit, and I'm like, oh my god. But I'm like, I don't think they'll do anything to the baby, and they don't. He
Hmm.
makes a bit of a mess, but the wife and his daughter come back right at the right time, and
Right.
I like that it just ends at, yeah, I guess we got here just in time for nothing bad to happen. Okay,
Hmm.
like it wasn't like this thing of like, no, 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 this could have. It's just like, no, that's true. We did get here before anything happened.
Yep. Yep. But it was a very awkward situation for sure.
Yes, it was
And
awkward, but it didn't. They didn't make more out of it than they needed to.
yes, which obviously I'm like, yeah, don't show me a baby getting hurt. Like,
Yeah,
don't ever do that. Like, that's
yeah.
terrible. I don't want to ever see that. So, like, good choice by the writers and the show people, but it's just one of those things where I'm like, yeah, that could have gone for how dark this show actually is. That could have gone
Hmm.
very, very, very dark. You know what I mean? Um, it, Either way, but I'm just glad that they were like, no, this is our limit. We're not going to cross
Yeah,
this,
yeah,
man.
no, no. He
But
he knows he fucked up. We don't need to take it any
yes.
further.
Yeah. Cliff's arc in the season is that because he's lost, he goes on a journey of self-discovery, but leans into hedonism, and that's where the gambling and all that kind of stuff that you're talking about really, really kicks into place with the Parkinson's and just ignoring that.
And also overdosing on those pills, like which
Yes.
he shouldn't have taken in the first place. But obviously, I think the only thing that I was upset about is he's using Cyborg for help, and then Cyborg's like, "Oh, I got a call. I'm gonna just leave right at this most important part
Yeah.
of you taking these pills." Bye. It's like
Hmm.
you could have stayed.
Yeah. He could have stayed just a
You could
little
have
bit
helped.
longer. Yeah.
Yeah. Um.
There was
But
a
yeah.
weird part with Cyborg in this where I'm like, did I just watch Cyborg use a phone? Like before he gets like the powers removed and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, I get that they're trying to show you what he wrote and all that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
But I'm just like, man, I really think they should have thought that through. Because Cyborg using a flip phone to me is like, I don't think they understand this character's powers.
I think they're trying to show you he's making his way away from it.
Yes. Yeah.
So to me, it makes sense that
Okay, good point. Yeah.
that it wouldn't be just on the, what's the say? Just, he wouldn't just all of a sudden be like, yeah, I'm done with this. I think they need to plant seeds throughout the season, specifically it not being a smartphone in particular, like that
Right.
he is trying to go lo-fi,
Hmm. Hmm.
and that he is. I find it frustrating, but it is ultimately his arc of like, I think I'm just living for my dad. And then obviously you learn why his dad did what
Hmm.
he did, but all of it is a rejection of that.
Yes. And I mean, I think Victor's stuff with the dad in this season very like just led to some great moments of just exploration of why Silas thought that and where
Yeah.
the era he comes from and all that kind of stuff. Because like that scene where he's a little kid in the toy store and that
And he
manager's
makes
being
a
a
mess.
total dick and all that kind of stuff and being like it's property damage. I'm like, relax, it's on the ground, it's not property damage. Like, fuck you.
He did seem, the way they cast Vic, I was like, you seem too old to be that sloppy.
A
Like,
little bit, yes.
like what? Like, I didn't think what happened to him was justified,
Right.
but I was just like, why are you doing that? Like, are you an
Yeah.
idiot? Like, you
Yeah.
seem way too old to be going.
Yeah, it's like and like I like the things like I'm just looking for a black hero, and I'm like, yeah, that's a good point and commentary on the availability of it. But at the same time, I'm like, yeah, dude, you're a little bit too old to just be flinging around shit.
Yeah,
You
I was just
gotta
like,
know better. Like I'm expecting that out of like what, maybe a 4 or 5 year old, but like,
yeah, like, and it's not just, hey, you should know you're black, they're gonna get angry. It's just
yeah,
like, what are you doing? Why are you making a mess?
yeah, exactly. It's like, no, what are you doing? I don't believe that for a second that like Silas Stone would have been like, you don't get to make mistakes, but never talk to him beforehand to be like, hey, this is how you behave in public because people are thinking the worst of you because of your skin color. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
it's that's why I said it was frustrating. I
Yeah.
understand the points they were getting at, but I was also like, this is the first time they're doing this, or like,
Yeah.
and maybe I'm projecting because I'm just like, if I had a dad like that, there's no way I would make a mess in the toy store.
Yes, 100%.
So is this the first time they're hanging out, or like, like what? Like, I just, it just was like, I understand what they're getting at, and I appreciate it because it's like that, respectability politics of like, hey, you got to act a certain way, or like, or else they'll never respect you. And I'm like, it doesn't matter what he does.
Yeah.
He would have got in trouble even if he didn't make a mess, which is why I didn't
Yes.
understand why they made him make a mess.
Yeah.
It's like him
One.
just being there
Yeah.
and not being able to buy something would have led to somebody saying something to him.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
So it's just like, what is going on? But yeah, it's whatever. I just was like, I don't know. I like what Silas is saying because he's wrong for the most part. Like I appreciate the fear he has and how he wants to protect, but also like the whole like, now be a man, son. Tell him what you do. I'm like, don't do that in front of the guy either. All of that's good, but it also just felt like I feel like you would lay the track of Vic has been doing whatever his dad says forever, and that would have been a good scene to highlight how he forgoes what's actually right to just do what his dad thinks is the right thing in that situation, and it still doesn't work out for him. Versus like, this is the first time he ever acted out, and it's obviously not acting out. Yeah, just didn't work for me, but I understood ultimately where they were trying to go for.
Yeah, yeah. It was, the way it was handled was messy, but I'm like, ultimately they got the right message across. It's only like people like you and me that were like, we're gonna pick this apart, really. But I'm like, okay, the intent is there. Y'all did good. Yeah, that is what it's like and all that shit. But like you and I are pointing out, I'm like, man, I had a dad like that. My dad always reminded me before we left the house. So there was no excuse whatsoever. Because if we fucked up, it was way more fucked up if we had to deal with him.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, we would know that it wouldn't just come up in that moment.
Correct. It's not hey, this is a teachable moment thing.
Messing things up.
Yeah, it's like, hey, this is not a teachable moment. This is something that just never would have happened if Silas was actually like that.
Yeah.
You would have been like, no, don't touch this, don't touch this, don't touch this. And like just getting in the kid's head and just purely anxious the entire time. I'm like, that's real. And I like what you said too. If the scene goes that he didn't do anything wrong, listen to his dad, and still got in trouble, that would have been much, much more effective.
Yeah.
For what they were trying to convey.
But yeah, if this is the episode where the team members, is this the flagellation? It has to be, right? This is where they swap out for they swapped out with themselves in key memories.
Sure.
So Cliff is in the memory where he left his kid in the car.
Yep.
While he played with a stripper.
Yep.
What's his name? Negative Man was with his mom.
Yes.
On his wedding day, I believe. Yep. And Jane, I don't remember what she's doing.
Jane is just constantly doing her
She's
own
on the
thing.
Muppet Show.
Yes.
They said it's very specific things. She had a fantasy. She didn't have a memory. She just had a fantasy, and she was on a puppet show. And we just spoke to death about Victor's thing, which is he actually becomes the black superhero action figure that he wanted. Right. And the Sarge, whatever it was called, the only G.I. Joe type toy that was there from swaps places with him. And yeah, I appreciated them all meeting each other and talking, but it was that thing where he goes through all of that, and then that is before he makes the decision. Yeah, because he still has the cyborg stuff on him, but he's been toying with for a couple episodes, being like, "Hey, I could just get this skin graft thing," and he learns like, "Well, you could have had this in the first place, but your dad said no."
Yeah,
and
this is the fucked up part. For sure.
Like this scene in the toy store helps you bridge the gap of like, yes, of course, that dad would be like, well, why would I put him back to normal when I can make him more of a threat in that way?
Yeah, he could be protecting himself.
He's protected,
more
but he
effectively.
Can also be more active.
Yes.
In it. Not that I'm saying, yeah, good idea, but it's like you just understand that is him.
Yes,
that is definitely a choice he would make. That isn't in that context evil. It's just like you just know how scared he is.
Yeah, no, totally. It's purely out of fear. It's purely out of his lived experience, not Victor's, and he's projecting and all that kind of stuff. Totally get that from a person of color, father, and all that kind of stuff. That perspective is really, really well done. I just think that the writing of that scene where you figure out, oh, this is different, because in traditional kind of things, like Silas is like, this is the only way to save your life, so he was
Hmm.
left no choice. In this, they're like, oh no, he clearly had a choice, and I'm
Yeah, he
just
had a
like,
choice. Yeah,
oh, what? That makes it his Vic's whole conflict throughout this way different than what I originally thought. Like when I saw that scene, I was like, wait, hold on. Did they just say that and just rewound it? I'm like, no,
yeah,
that's wild in this. So I'm like, that's crazy cool the way they wrote Cyborg.
yeah. You get to a good place
Yeah.
with it. And I was also surprised that he went through with it. I'm like, honestly, I've seen the season before, and I didn't remember him making the choice to actually go through with it.
Right.
And I was like, oh, well, that's because it made it very funny the next episode where
Mhm.
throughout this season, Rita has become like an actual leader, and I think she even
Mhm.
has conversations with Vic where he's like, "Oh, you're finally like where I wanted you to be, but also mentally I'm not there anymore. So like,
Mhm.
sorry." But it's just funny that she only has Jane to talk to, and she's kind of like, and Jane's like, "Oh, I don't have power." Or, no, she's Kay, I guess, at that point. And she's like, "Oh, I
Yes.
don't have powers," and she's like, "Oh, great, that's great, okay." And she sees visually when you see Vic, it's just like, right. So you don't have any weapons. He's like, nope,
Yep.
I got rid of that. And throughout, for most of the season, Negative Man doesn't have his powers. So she's already
Yep.
like, hey, and you're here now.
Yep.
And at this point, Cliff is really not doing well with the
Yes.
Parkinson's. So she's just like, okay, I can still make this work. And they're kind of just like, wait, that's not us. We don't do
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Even when we had powers, we didn't do that.
Mhm.
But I really liked that moment where you're like, she's trying so hard, but just really bad timing for her.
Yeah, she really is able to really assess the situation really well at that point in time and just be like, okay, hold on, this is. And I what I like about Rita too is she reevaluates and then goes to the sisters and does her own thing,
Hmm.
gets a family of her own. Because dealing with that loss of that fatherhead figure, like I like seeing this makeshift family
Hmm.
try to figure out what's going on, and Rita being naturally like, yeah, let's bring this together. Oh, it's not happening, so I'm gonna go off and do this other thing. And she does with the sisterhood, and I'm
Yeah,
like, yeah, that's fantastic. It's great. And she finds love there and gets torn apart.
her little fiddle faddle
Yep.
statement, or I don't give a fuck, but in French, it was all good
Yes.
stuff. All
Hmm.
good stuff. Um, yeah, the Jane stuff. I guess we can talk about now.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, there's like a big battle. And
Hmm.
you see her kind of being like Silas in one of the things because Kay actually goes up to the top for the first time in a long time and is like,
Yes.
"Yeah, I'm gonna ride my bike." And as soon as a guy, obviously it's shot in a way where you're like, "No, get away from him!" But
Yep.
like the guy's just like, "Hey, you should be careful. Like, don't get hit by a car. You're doing a good job, but like just watch out for the car."
Yeah.
And I thought that would make Jane be like, "Oh," but she was like, "Okay, you got lucky this time, but get back here before something bad happens to you."
Yeah. I mean, in
Um,
all fairness, the way they shot his vibe going
yeah,
into
that's
it
what I'm
was like,
saying. Yeah.
yeah, this really did seem like it was going to be a bad situation. And then just out of pocket, he's just being a nice guy and just like, hey, be careful, you're doing great. And I'm like, what? Okay, sure.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, it feels like she's really going up against the therapist
Yes.
identity,
Yeah.
which rightfully so. She points out, "You took away her bike. What did you think was going to happen?" Because the
Right.
therapist is like, "Oh no, I'm not even going to give her the options. I'm not. I'm just going to control the situation, but
Yeah.
that's the only
I've
way I know."
determined what's best for her, and this is what we're going to do. And there's no ifs and buts about it and all that kind of stuff. And it gets to a pretty wild spot with Kay in the sense where Kay gets to go up and then she's, never going back up again and all this kind of stuff. And I really like the journey that Jane and Kay have together, that relationship that they try to form. Because we should say too that at some point all the altars are gone and you just don't see them anymore, and you're
Yeah,
like, what the hell?
it's like
And
empty. Even when you see the underground, it's
yeah,
empty.
everything's empty, and there's a fog on the surface level. Like there's all these mirrors going on in the season, but it's fundamentally important that all the altars are gone, and it's just Kay, and then Kay has basically banished Jane for a little bit, so it's just Kay up there, and
Hmm.
she's got no powers, no know-how. It's just little kid in a grown woman's body, you know?
Very upsetting every time you're reminded of that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, well, she looks like an adult, but it just is not.
She is not mentally, she's like 8 or something like that.
There's a
And
scene where the
yeah.
like terrible things are happening and a fight's going on, and she's just on under the table, like,
Mhm.
I, yeah, I need to get out of here.
Yeah, yeah, and then there's that other scene where they're all discussing everything. Someone says like fathers, and it's like, and then she goes, "Can we not talk about
Yeah, yeah.
fathers?" It was just right. Bring me back to last season. I'm like, God damn it, I forgot the show went there.
Hmm.
It's really rough, but the stuff with Jane is fundamentally really, really good because personally, I like in the DID research kind of treatment kind of side of things is like, what is the goal here? Is the goal to bring the actual persona up to the surface and then work with that, or like what is the goal to get rid of the alters? Or it's fascinating how they actually explored it through the storytelling in this, and I'm like, this is cool because I like the fact that they never actually got to an answer because yeah, guess what? The psychiatry world is constant debates about that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
So it was really, really, really well done, I think, the way they explored all those treatment avenues, so to speak, visually.
Yeah. I think that the show, I mean, we haven't talked about Negative Man because I just unfortunately for him, it feels like very cut and dry what the issue is. Is like he was a
Mhm.
closeted gay man
Yep.
at a time where it was very important for him to stay in the closet.
Yep.
I'm not trying to belittle anyone who's in the closet, but it's just like the show is making it very clear that like, especially when we do like Sisterhood of the Dada or like
Mhm.
episodes like Danny the Street or whatever, where it's like
Mhm.
there are communities in this world that would have fully embraced him, but he just wasn't there for that, and it wasn't the time.
Right.
Um, that's the sad part of it. So it's not. I'm not saying
Yes.
he's a boring character in that way, but it is just like the, we're gonna keep hitting the same thing. Like there's
Mhm.
obviously an episode where he's dealing with his son, who's an old man right now,
Yeah.
and he's like, "Well, yeah, like mom died, and my brother, or you
Mhm.
killed my brother," and it's just like, yeah, this is. I don't know, like where are we gonna go with this? It doesn't
Yeah.
seem like anywhere, and he's, as we talked about, like a character who doesn't want his show to happen. He
Mhm.
seems very happy to like be there for Rita and even Victor when he's like, "Oh yeah, okay, you got the surgery." And I
Mhm.
like the joke of Victor, like, "Oh, he liked it." And he's like, "I never said I liked it. I'm just saying, like, good for you, you did
Yeah.
it."
That
um,
was a good joke for sure.
so yeah, like he just feels um and I don't think that's bad writing, but it does feel like he's very much being like, "Oh, I'm just here to support others." Like the
Yes.
character that feels like he didn't support the people he needed to support, his wife and kids,
Yeah.
will now just support others. I'm like, yeah, but everyone else is like doing their own thing, and you kind of just get stuck in the like,
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
gonna support people or this big worm thing that came out of me.
Yeah. And I really like Larry in this season because ultimately it's showing how much he just does he's refusing to love himself and embrace
Hmm.
himself. It's like, yeah, you can argue the society thing, and I think it's great. You have that queer community, Danny the Street, where he can find love, and he's experienced that before, but he chooses not to be in that. So I'm just like, a big part of this and within queer spaces and queer identities is like, okay, society can love you, select pockets of people can love you, but can you love yourself?
Hmm.
And that's such a big thing in the queer community. And I think it speaks so heavily to the era that he belonged to and how much you're right. He needed to be in the closet for survival reasons and how he created a lot of self-hatred towards himself. And fundamentally, I really like that scene, the final scene with his son, where it's like, listen, and I'm trying, but
Yeah,
if this is
it
causing
is
so
better if you
much,
leave. It's better
yeah,
if you
it's
leave.
it's better that you get out of here kind of deal. I'm like, yeah, a little bit, a little bit.
I was happy for it, but it's
Yeah,
like that. It came after like 9 episodes of me being like, "Are you gonna do something?" And
yeah,
it is a good payoff for sure. It's
yes.
just one of those things where like there's a bunch of payoffs for the other characters throughout the season.
Hmm.
Um, so they've kind of bound their hands in a way with
Hmm.
his writing because,
Yes.
well, we'll see in season 4. Hopefully, there's more breakthroughs for him, but like I want to make it clear, I don't think he's a bad character. It's
Mhm.
just he has the least forward motion throughout the season.
Absolutely. I fully agree with that. I just think that his issue is just one that is not easily displayed through everything else this season. It's just like, yeah, you got to love yourself. You got to accept yourself at the end of it. And he does. He gets there by symbolically embracing the worm and all that kind of stuff, or
Mm-hmm.
that new thing. And he gets to, I like the fact, the visualization of like, oh, he's more powerful now. He's
Yeah,
better than he was before. I'm like, yeah, that's great. But that's a 2 episode arc. So they had to like, yeah, we have to sideline you for about like 5 episodes. You're
yeah.
still gonna be there. You're not with the rest of the cast and all that kind of stuff. And that part, I'm like,
And it just feels a
yeah,
lot like once you have the negative man element of him
mhm.
leave, you don't even get the fun of the negative man and entity pushing him to do things that he would
Yes,
like. There's obviously in the others in the earlier seasons, he's trying to run away, but then the entity leaves his body, so he can't physically get out of there.
mhm.
Stuff like that can't happen anymore because it's just gone. So you are just like, well, at least you're being nice to Rita and Vic.
Yeah, yeah, and I like that because it's just like, okay, yeah, I find people usually that can't be nice to themselves are being out of their way nice to other people.
Yeah,
So I like that representation of what he's going through here. But you are right to be like, oh man, yeah, this character wasn't nice to his wife or his kid, despite the fact that whatever society did to him and all that kind of stuff. It's that's still the card you got dealt, and that sucks, right?
yeah.
But yeah, but yeah.
Because I think he not in this season, I think, but I'm sure before he would told himself, "Well, I gave her a family or whatever," and
Mhm.
I was listening to someone break down Mad Men, and I'm sure it's a similar approach of like there was a gay character on that show where
Mhm.
they were like, he's not mean to his wife, but also his wife deserves someone who loves her romantically and isn't just her best friend and
Right.
taking her away from the ability to have that kind of love in her life.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Um,
uh it's definitely complex for sure.
hmm
But at the end of the day, it's a and that's why I like the exploration of queerness within this show specifically, because
hmm
I'm like it's so much more complex when you add queerness to it because you have societal rejections and all that kind of stuff going in where I'm like, yeah, this is why people hide and do the things that they do.
Yeah. Um, yeah, that's the. I mean, I really like the Madame Rouge character. I can't remember what they land on her actual name being though.
Yeah.
Is it Lauren or something
I,
like that?
I I remember Laura or Lauren at some point, but I'm just like, oh man, this character doesn't know a real name, so I'm just like gonna go off whatever
Um,
IMDb says.
yeah, Laura DeMille.
Laura, yeah.
Yeah, she's. I can't remember. She was on a bunch of things I was watching at the same time when
Mhm.
this show came out, and it's just like, wow, like she doesn't miss. Like, oh yeah, she was on Flight Attendant. There's just a bunch of things I was watching when this season first came out, and she was in it that I was just like, all right, Michelle Gomez. I guess I'm a fan.
Mhm.
Um, because she does have to play like when she's the clean slate, she's kind of cool because you're like, well, she can do all these things, like she can shapeshift, but
Mhm.
she doesn't actually know what she's doing. She's just going off of vibes. Then you get to go into the past and see what she was actually like. So you
Mhm.
get a lot of her doing things, and it's really cool. And she also is there to get rid of Niles. And I like
Mhm.
that Cliff was like, all I heard was she's here to like fuck with Niles' legacy, so I'm down.
Yeah.
Until who I guess it's is it Rita who's like, don't you get it? Like we are the legacy. She's here to
Yes.
destroy us.
Yes. It is Rita. It is Rita ultimately
Yeah.
because Rita ultimately has, I would say, a better kinship with Niles and all that kind of stuff compared to
She
everyone
also is
else.
just actually focused this season.
Yeah.
She because this season starts with her still in that theater troupe, right? And they were
Yes.
just like, look, she is the
She is
lady,
the blob that we're
and you're
doing
like,
this show about. And I'm like,
I again,
yikes.
I did not remember that when I watched it the first time. I was like, oh, she got through to the woman who's playing her, but
Mhm.
that woman who played her was the first one to be like, kill it, kill it, get it out. I was like, I'm so glad we're rewatching this. I did not remember that at all.
Yeah, yeah. What a moment. What a moment for sure. And just hearing her talk about how she's like that was her first foray out in the public scene again, but like even on a small scale, she's like, I can't even do that. And I'm like, oh, that does suck for you.
Yeah, that's why I liked it. Was like she couldn't find her community there.
Mm-hmm.
She tried doing that, and obviously things weren't going well with the Doom Patrol.
Mm-hmm.
And then she finally found it and had it taken away from her all over again. And you're
Yep.
like, oh, that sucks.
She goes through some rough stuff this season for
Yeah.
sure. But
I think she remains my favorite character. It's not like she's far and away my favorite, but I'm always very interested in what's going on with her
yes.
in a show where it has also like Jane, who's an amazing character as well.
Mm-hmm.
And Cliff is funny.
Cliff is hilarious. It just it's so good to see Brendan Fraser actually as himself as a big part of this season too. I'm like, yeah, I like this guy. He's great.
Because there's this episode where he's with his dad, and his dad's like, "Oh yeah, like you're like
Yeah.
me." He's like, "No, I'm not." And he's like, "Okay, buddy." Or when he was like, "Oh, so I guess your daughter had the kid." He's like, "How do you know about that?" He's like, "You think she wouldn't talk to me?" And I'm like, "Yeah, you were the one that was out of the loop, buddy."
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I'm glad that there wasn't a lot of backtracking on him wanting to be there for his daughter and grandson.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, that was a big part of last season, and he was like, "I can't go to the baby shower because I'm doing this." And I'm glad that like when he was able to, he did. And yes, things were getting a bit hairy, but ultimately, he wasn't a complete fuck up when he was looking after the kid.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he just kept that going, which I appreciated.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't. What else is going on in this season? There's no real like, because it is just Madame Rouge and Rita as the like driver. There's no other bad guy.
Yeah, everyone
There's
else is just doing their.
Butt vampire. They do it. They have a season where there's or an episode where there's zombies. There's this episode where there's the butt vampires.
Yeah.
But it's pretty vampires. Much just the Michelle Gomez character that's. Oh, that's not true because there's like the brain and robot thing.
Oh yeah, the not Gorilla Grodd person, but someone I was convinced was Gorilla Grodd.
There, but it was like the robot that actually like took over and swapped brains with Cliff.
Yeah, yeah.
That's still at the end of the season, right? Like that.
It is still it's still very much there, and
he didn't get out of that.
He did not, and it was funny to watch. Oh, you got a body, and now you're just running up the whole retirement facility. Is like you're like just it's hilarious to see that shift. It was really really funny, and just the idea of like, oh man, Cliff is in a jar right now. That sucks.
Because there was the other character, the one that's played by the Lord of the Rings guy.
Yeah,
he was the sidekick to like the red guy, and he was just kind of like, no, we need to kill them. And that guy was like, it's been so many years. Who cares? They seem fun. Like Cliff is cool. I don't want to hurt them.
Yeah,
but they don't last longer than that.
Yeah, that green guy and that red guy for sure. Yeah. They've been doing this mission for 70 years. Or
yeah,
something
they got
like
sent there, and then there's like we can't find them. All right, we just hang out here now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really was just like, yeah, I guess there isn't like in the first two seasons a bad guy that's like looming over them.
Yeah, there really isn't, and part of that made it a little bit better to me because like this whole season they kept going like, we're not a superhero team, we're not a superhero team. So the fact that they actively were just like, we're not actively trying to do that right now, we're just trying to focus on fixing ourselves collectively. I really like that actually. And then finally the sisterhood stuff, and that just came together through like circumstance more than anything else. That wasn't like we're the only ones that can take care of this.
No, yeah.
But you know,
they kept going back to their flagellation thing.
Yeah, the flagellation thing was weird. I like the fact that they kept
figure it out.
Yeah,
what are you saying? It's like it's flagellation.
Are you saying flatulation?
Yeah.
And I like, okay, like to me, Jane and Cliff's relationship, when it's Jane and her, like when they're having a good time, is so damn funny. Because the fact that they were just like being children and being like flatulence and then making fart noises and laughing
Mhm.
to themselves was the best thing in the world. I'm like, this is so good.
Yeah, they're really good playing off of each other.
Yeah.
Um, I do wish I remembered more of her puppet thing during the flagellation because I thought it was
Mhm.
amazing. Like just the visuals of it. I was like, yeah,
Mhm.
this show is cooking. I like this a lot. But basically, Jane as a puppet keeps saying like swear words, and you can tell they're kind of like don't do. They can't
It-
say, "Hey, don't speak like that," but they're kind of like, well, anyway, we'll just keep doing the Sesame
yeah.
Street thing. She's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
Yeah. I like how the hammerhead puppet at one point pulls her aside. It's like, hey, this is what's happening. So just
Yeah,
go with it, right? And she refuses the
like she's
entire
also
time.
swearing, but she's just like, "Yeah, you fucking think I want to do this too?"
It's like it's all for her, and I'm like, that's it's really good.
Yeah.
The show is really really good at setting up that visual for sure.
But yeah, it, it's just that,
Mhm.
and so yeah, I guess the season ends with Cliff swapping brains with that robot thing that I don't know the name of.
Whatever that giant
Yeah,
robot
yeah, yeah.
is.
And so
I
he's
was
a
just
giant robot
yeah. I just
now.
like the fact that for there was a headline like it's like of course it's from Florida or something like
Yeah,
that. I'm like hilarious. That is hilarious actually. And has this like little map of him running around like the southern states and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, yeah, that's a long time to run around without anyone trying to intervene and like figure out what's going on. Like it feels very, very unbelievable that news people are reporting on it constantly and just like, yeah, there's been no intervention whatsoever.
no.
But it's kind of funny.
It's, I mean, yeah, it is a world where they constantly remind you that Cyborg was part of the Justice League and does know those people. Or I guess that he had an opportunity to be and that he does know of the other superheroes.
Right.
So it is weird when you're like, wow, they clearly aren't the only people that could help with this.
Yeah.
But I just surrender to the show of being like, it's just them.
Yeah,
There's no one else is coming.
you
It's
kind of
just them.
have to. You kind
Yeah.
of have to do it. I will say that butt episode, I don't know what that guy's name is, but I call him Constantine.
Oh,
Um,
the guy that always comes to like, he doesn't help necessarily, but he knows Niles and he knows magic.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That guy's fun. I like seeing that guy a lot, especially because he was a part of that butt episode and all that,
Hmm.
the butt vampires. And I like the fact that they're like, all right, we got to bring back Niles, and like this is how we sacrifice him, and he'll never be gone. He's like, okay, yeah, it was
Yeah, they
real,
put the speaker in his mouth and
yeah,
it's just a severed head now. Yeah.
yeah. And then they're like, all right, well, they have to eat my head in order to cure their thing. Brains apparently in this world cures zombieism.
And then there
Kind
was
of hilarious.
the part where the sex ghosts come back, but it was Madame Rouge who knew how to stop her. Actually, oh, you just use these words.
Yeah,
That'll stop them.
yeah. Just like say this and we'll get out of here. I'm like hilarious.
Like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I love this character. It's just
Yeah,
great. She's like, oh, you just got to say this. They'll leave.
yeah.
Um,
I didn't like how in like I think it was like first or second episode that they were saying basically there's Niles as a ghost. I'm like, please don't have him in the season as a ghost. That'd be terrible. It'd be so
doesn't he
terrible.
just join
He
them
just
in the
joins the
sex?
orgy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, he just joins the orgy, and I'm like, okay, that's great. That's a great way to not involve him anymore. He's busy with the ghost orgy. Hilarious.
yeah. He's living his afterlife. No
Yep.
need to bother anybody.
Yep.
I guess now is as good a time as any for me to admit I don't know what ends up happening with Rita or Laura.
Well, they basically just becomes friends at the end of the day because
So
she
she was
joins
gonna fight
the
her,
Doom
and
Patrol. Yeah.
yeah, this is the thing I know about season 4 is that she's just part of the team. But I was
Yes.
like, I don't remember what happened at the end of the season.
Yeah. It's I
It's because they find a common enemy, right? They're like, yeah,
yes, but also the fact that they go through a lot of what makes us good, what makes us bad, all this kind of
and she
stuff.
does
And
apologize, right? She's like, yeah, I took
yes, she
away your
does.
love. Like, I'm sorry about that. Like,
There was a genuine like, hey, yes, but I like what she says about it. It's like I understand you want to, and I fully agree with it. However, I'm not worth it. And I'm like, that was really good. The way they were like, yeah, it's not worth killing me, how it would ruin your life even more, and all this. I'm like, man, that was some really good writing.
If you're
Really
gonna
good.
kill, well, it might not be the best for it to be me that you're killing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Good
mean,
stuff.
I don't know if I agree, but sure. Like,
Well, no, I mean,
if
it's
you're
good.
already up for killing, why not that person that
No, I
betrayed
mean,
your
it
friends
was
and killed your love?
I meant purely from her perspective of trying to get out of getting killed. I'm like,
Oh, no, I'm not saying she's wrong for
that's
saying that. I was
yeah.
just like, I don't know that Rita was there.
No, she
Obviously, she
was.
was because it just worked, but I'm just like, I think that Rita was
Yeah.
pretty justified in being like, I'm gonna get you.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I'm just like, yeah,
And like, if not her, then who?
yeah.
Like,
Because
who are you gonna find that's going to do like it would just be someone who does that again, and in which
yeah,
case you could have done it to her.
because it was the way that she sold out the sisterhood and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff to be like, yeah, we're reporting the Gestapo on you and we're gonna use you as like frontline killing
Hmm.
machines and all that kind of stuff. And I like there's one flashback. It's like we did that for 70 years. And I'm just like, that's fucking wild. That's and yeah, that's wild.
Yeah.
And she just keeps
Um,
going like, I have a job to do. And I'm like, man, that's not how you're gonna win these people over.
I
But
liked I
yeah.
liked when they initially sent when Rita initially went back, and she's the one that's like, let's not eat away from everyone else, and she like goes out to eat. I was like, go Rita, all right, yeah. Even when they're like, ew, this is gross, I can't even eat my food, and they just all joined it. At first, I was like, oh, they're gonna be too scared, but I like that they're like, mm, strength in numbers. Let's just
Yeah.
all go out there, and then it's just gonna be a wash. And I was like, yeah, I really like the moments like that because
Mhm.
obviously then you are like, how could you sell us out? Because
Yes.
after that happens, uh, Laura with her uh shape shifting abilities is like, yeah, like don't worry, I always have your back. Like I'll look out for you guys.
Mhm.
And then she does what she does
Yeah.
in a way where she thinks she can convince herself she's helping them, but it is
Yes.
like you sold them out and you
Yeah.
got Rita's person killed. So I just feel like ultimately, in what other situation would you be justified to kill?
Yeah. No, that's I completely agree with you on that. I completely agree. And it was good. Like I'm this. These are the words I'm going to use to
She's
save
a
my
good
own life, kind
actress.
of thing.
I
She's
I feel like
very good.
I'm talking about the actress and the character. I think they
Yes.
did a good job, but obviously it doesn't work if I think the character is acting. It's just I
Correct.
thought she did a good job,
Mhm.
but I think that I'm also like I don't know. It's I mean, what it doesn't seem like there's going to be other circumstances where you'd be like, yeah, it was a good thing you killed that person. If this isn't one of those times,
Yeah. There's no reason that why that would have happened and all that kind of stuff. The only saving grace is like the her love jumps in front of her to protect her and all that kind of
hmm
stuff. And I'm like, okay, but he's still dead. You
hmm
still betrayed them all. She's still got every reason. But like, yeah, it's wild how they get to be like, yeah, you're part of the Doom Patrol now at the end of the season. I'm like, man,
well, they
that could
need
have,
as much help as they can get with
yeah,
like their big gun uh,
yes,
cyborg just not being cyborg anymore.
yeah, yeah.
I like I was like, well,
I,
I have the grid. Like, you won't have anything. He's like, yeah, good point. All right, and like, do you should probably talk to somebody about
yeah,
this.
I really like halfway through the season I forgot Laura shapeshifts. So when
Yeah,
we
I
get to
forget
the
it until she would do it. I'd be like, oh
yeah,
right, yeah, that's what she does.
yeah, and then when we get to the fight, like the baby fight scene with Cliff and all the rest of it, I'm like, this is hilarious.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a great
legit
fight.
watching it. It's such a great fight. It looks so funny and weird. I'm like, yeah, and I like the fact that the way she shapeshifts is like it's not instant. It's like, no, I have
No,
to
it's like,
like, yeah, like I have to like grow this part first and this, but it looks painful. And I'm just like, wow, okay, this show's really putting a good spin on a lot of these things that originally we thought were really like time control being like, oh yeah, you lose your mind though. You lose your memory. So I'm like, that's a really cool thing. That's
mhm.
really cool. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to say about the season.
No, I mean I just really like this season from a character exploration standpoint, looking at trauma and all that kind of stuff, and it was my jam. I really liked it. So and I just I really like the fact that I'm like, yeah, they're actively not trying to be a team, but then they find their way back to being a team toward the end of it.
Yeah,
So it's kind of great.
Vic just lives there. What else is he gonna do?
Yeah. What's he gonna do?
I do like initially when he's like, we could just like I already tracked where they're going when they had to go after Cliff, and he's like, we could just get in the bus. We'll still like it's gonna take a day, but at least we'll get there. And I was like,
Yeah.
all right, good. He's still got that going for him. But
Yeah.
then, unfortunately for them, Jane has an outburst, and the bus explodes, and then it all falls apart for them.
Yeah.
But I did like initially that Cyborg's like, we can still do this.
Yeah. He
And then he
still
gives
wants
up.
to be an active part of the
Yeah.
team and all that kind of stuff without being like, oh, my arm doesn't shoot lasers anymore.
And I do like it was the baby fight where he tries to do the arm
Yes.
cannon.
He tries it, it's like, oh
I
no.
But I like that they don't linger on it. It's just like he tries it, and it's like, yeah, I gotta move on.
Yeah. I really, really like that. They're just like, yep, right. He's just instinctual and then he's got to figure out the rest of the way. It was really, really good stuff. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe we waited too long to get back to this season, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. Yeah, it's we just have so much to review this year that I'm like, okay, cool. I think if we reviewed this earlier, I still would have that perspective of like, I don't like the fact that they're finishing a season in the next season, and then
Yeah,
the next season has to start off something.
it
I think
feels
the
like they're gonna
great,
have to do that in season 4 too, because they have to figure out the Cliff stuff.
yeah, yeah. So I'm just like, oh, yikes. At least with the season 3 ending, I'm like, this feels a little bit more contained. It doesn't feel like there's a
Hmm.
massive cliffhanger, and yeah, they're gonna go fight this like thing, but like at the end of the day, I'm like, okay, that's a good ending point for a lot of seasons or whatever this is. It's like, yeah, let's off to the next adventure. Let's go, kind of
Yeah,
deal. So I'm like, all right, that works. But yeah, it just it was really, really, really weird to me that I'm like, I kept thinking it was Gorilla Grodd. I was like, is that Brainiac? Is that what's going on here? I'm like, oh, none of these are characters. I don't know any of these
yeah.
characters.
I'm never like, oh, I know that character. I think most of the time they are just characters from the comics, but I'm like, this I don't go that deep into comics, so I don't know these
Yeah.
characters.
Yeah, yeah, especially in the DC world. And I say that largely because I have Marvel Unlimited. I don't know if DC has the equivalent, but
Yeah, DC universe.
does it? Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Well, I guess I'm
it's
going to
great.
start reading DC now.
Yeah, it's great.
That's going to be great. Okay, sweet. Yeah, but hey, this show is still really, really good. It's just this season I really liked it. But
I'm good. I'm
yeah,
glad because it is a show I remembered really liking, and I'm glad you like it.
yeah.
Um, I just thought this was a rocky start to the to this season, but
Oh
it
yeah.
got there. It got to the stuff I like
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah, definitely a rocky start. Definitely.
Uh, anything else you want to say, or are you ready to
No, I
rate
think we
this season?
covered everything. Those are all the notes I had of the things I definitely want to talk about. So we hit all those notes. So I'm very happy with this. Let's rate this thing.
I'm gonna give this an 8.
Okay.
It could have been higher, but I just the beginning really took me out.
Yeah, I'm at 7.5. That I just don't like the fact that the seasons are like that. But everything
I
else
didn't
about it is
expect
great.
to like it more than you. You were like, you guys said you really liked this season.
Yes, but I do really like it. But at the end of the day, I'm like, there's still a lot of disconnected things that you can't ignore,
Yeah, I
or
think
I couldn't ignore.
I mean,
Anyways.
obviously, I liked just being with the characters more than you because I was like,
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna be like, yeah, this was a 9. I really like this season.
No, I really liked it, but I'm like, it's still not perfect and all that kind of stuff. But it is
No,
what it is. But yeah, 7.5. That
excellent. All
yeah,
right, thank you very much for listening, everybody. Please go to tdfeverything.com/spoiledrotten because we're proud of our website. You can also catch us on social media. We are at tdfspoiled on Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and TikTok. You can email us, spoiledpodcast@gmail.com, and we're on all the different podcast platforms. So please rate, review, subscribe, share with your friends, and do all that great stuff. All right. Uh, I'm gonna call it now. We are not. When you're hearing this, you probably were expecting us to talk about Eyes of Wakanda, but it comes out at a bad time for us to
yeah,
review it. So we are probably going to wait until everything's aired because it feels like they're airing it. Well, it's already aired if you're listening to this,
Mhm.
and then the rest of it is going to air at the end of the month, which doesn't really make sense to me.
It's so weird, that
But
release.
we'll probably just catch up with it when it's all done.
Yeah.
Because it just feels weird to have like one episode and be like, well, we'll wait till find out what we think later.
Yeah, and then not go episode to episode to episode. It feels really weird. So yeah, slight delay, but we'll get there.
Yeah. But we'll
and
be
Peacemakers on the
21st.
Yeah, it's somewhere there too. So
yeah,
it'll be good.
All right then. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
This has been a TDF Everything production, brah.